So now that we've reviewed the most common types of OSHA violations that occur in organizations, I want to take a moment and review a scenario of a work accident with you. Reviewing this scenario will help you get an understanding of the importance of following OSHA standards and the negative effects that can occur by not following them, even when you're completing tasks that appear routine to you because you do them every day in the workplace. It's those routine tasks that at times are the reasons for these accidents that occur and can possibly put your life or your coworker's life in danger. So this scenario actually covers one of the top 10 OSHA violations in the workplace that we just discussed on the previous slide. It's going to show us a work accident relating to scaffolding. So let's take a look. I'm having some technical difficulties, so we're going to watch it on the web.
A welder was erecting scaffolding inside a vessel that was under construction. The welder attached the scaffolding to the bulkhead using bracket clips that are temporarily tack welded in place. The welder was trained and certified to install and weld these type of clips. After he finished assembling the scaffold structure with temporary welds, the welder walked out onto the scaffold boards. One of the bracket clips failed, causing him to fall 18 feet to the deck below. He died from massive injuries.
So as you can see, although the employee was experienced and trained on the job, he wasn't thinking or conscious of the safety risks that were associated with his actions. As an employee, it's important to always keep safety, your safety, and the safety of others in mind. So let's see what happens in this scenario.
The bracket clips, which require full welds, were only tack welded. The welder should not have climbed onto the scaffolding with tack welded clips. Welds must be inspected before a scaffolding structure is placed into use. The welder was wearing a body harness, but did not tie off. Always wear a full body harness and tie off at heights of 5 feet or more. When accessing scaffolds, ladders should extend 3 feet above scaffold boards.
So, although this employee had the training that was needed, he still managed to step onto the scaffold with only having it tack welded and not fully welded. He forgot to connect himself to the restraints for protection. So these minor mistakes that he made ended up turning into major mistakes. And unfortunately, if this was a real scenario, the employee would have lost his life. And these accidents are what leads to all the fatalities that we have in the workplace. If the worker would have followed the scaffolding general safety standards established by OSHA, the accident may not have occurred. Therefore, this is the reason why it's important for not only employees or employers, but also employees, to be aware of OSHA standards and safety in the workplace. As an employer, there are several responsibilities to create a safe work environment for workers. Those responsibilities include ensuring all OSHA safety and health standards relevant to the job are being followed. Finding and correcting all safety and health hazards in the workplace. Informing employees of potential chemical hazards by providing necessary training, using labels, setting alarms, implementing a color coding system, and displaying chemical information sheets. Providing employees most of the necessary personal protection equipment needed in order to perform their jobs safely and effectively at no cost to the workers. Therefore, if the personal protective equipment is necessary for their job, the worker should not be charged for these materials. It should be provided by the organization. The employer must also keep accurate records of work-related injuries and illnesses of all employees. Employers also should post OSHA citations, injuries, and illness summary data, as well as the OSHA job safety and health posters where all workers can see it. Additionally, employers cannot retaliate against any employee for using their rights under the law to make a report to OSHA of hazards they've seen in the workplace. Lastly, as of January 1st, 2015, employers are responsible for notifying OSHA within 8 hours of any workplace fatalities and within 24 hours of any work-related inpatient hospitalization, amputation, or loss of an eye. Inpatient hospitalization is defined by OSHA as being any formal admission for an inpatient service at a hospital, clinic, or other treatment center. Therefore, if an employee goes to the emergency room and is not admitted into the hospital for treatment, that emergency room visit is not a reportable, so it does not need to be reported to OSHA. In addition, employers do not have to report an incident that resulted from a motor vehicle accident on a public road or highway, except if it occurred in a construction work zone. If it occurred on a commercial or public transportation system, such as an airplane or bus, or if it involved hospitalization for diagnostic testing or observation only. So nothing had happened to the employee where they actually needed to be treated for any illnesses or any injuries. The hospital kept them as a precaution, just to perform more testing and for observations to ensure that the employee was healthy and fine. In that case, the organization does not need to report that incident to OSHA. There are 2 ways of contacting OSHA to notify them of an incident, and they are by contacting them via phone, by calling 1-800-321-OSHA, or by filing a report online at www.osha.gov/report_online. As mentioned previously, Employers who do not follow OSHA standards can receive a violation and citation. Findings not only can be reported by compliance officers who have gone to the organization and conducted an investigation, but they can also be reported by workers who see unsafe or hazardous work environments. Workers can call to make a report confidentially so that the employer is unaware of where the complaint came from. In the case that the employer did find out where the report came from, that employee is protected by OSHA's retaliation laws. So therefore, the employer cannot legally retaliate against the employee. It is in the best interest of the organization to have their management team become familiar with OSHA standards if they are not already familiar with them, and to have safety of their employees as a priority in the organization. Those employers that require more assistance or guidance are able to contact OSHA by the phone number that was provided to request additional training for the employees of the organization. So not only does it include just the workers, but also the management team. Additionally, they also provide services where OSHA could come out and do inspections of the workplace to give suggestions for improvements without them being official inspections. Therefore, no violations are issued to the organization. All of this is provided by OSHA with the goal and the purpose of helping to create a safer work environment for all employees. Therefore, organizations that are having a great amount of difficulty with implementing the standards or are concerned about their accuracy of implementing the standards and want to ensure that they don't cause any harmful environments for the employees, or ensure that when an investigation is conducted that there wouldn't have any concerns, they should call OSHA to receive the assistance that can be provided to them. OSHA has many offices located throughout the United States, and trainings are provided by an organization's local office. So by going on to OSHA.gov, an organization is able to find which OSHA office is closest to them and see what trainings are available in their areas. And for those employees who want to receive further training on OSHA standards, they can also go to OSHA.gov/workers. And in that section, you're able to find a list of trainings that as well are offered at your local OSHA offices. There are several other resources for workers for you to understand what are your rights as an employee and what resources are available for you as an employee in the workplace.